All right, welcome into Illini Drive. Last week before finals week, but I guess this is kind of finals week. I'm Alec Busse. You notice this new guy. This is my buddy. He's Dimitri. He does a podcast with me. Eric's busy with finals stuff, working on projects. Gabby has 2 exams tomorrow she's got to study for. I have an exam tomorrow I got to study for after this, and an exam on Friday. This week's my grind. I'm struggling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much the opposite. I just finished everything to go along with school, and, I don't have a test or, an assignment due until the 19th, so I'm kind of relaxing until then.
I wish I could say the same, because this week is awful, especially with the basketball game tomorrow night. That takes away 3-4 hours, at least, of studying, and then there's a game on Saturday as well against Old Dominion. So I'm a busy kid this week. And Illinois football announces where they're going to their bowl game on Sunday. That's obviously fun. I don't mind that busyness because I think that's a lot of fun, seeing where they're going to a bowl game. If you have missed it and you live under a rock somehow, and you are on Illini social media and you missed it, I don't know how you would have. Illinois football is going to the Redbox Bowl in Santa Clara to play the Cal Golden Bears in the Redbox Bowl. It's set for a 3 o'clock kickoff, I believe, in Central time zones at Levi Stadium, which is where the 49ers play. Be a good game. I'm excited for it. I think this is the best option that Illinois had, and I think it's also the best place for them to go based off of what they could have done, and I know it's where they kind of expected to go based off of the different scenarios. But what was your reaction when you turned on the TV and saw that they were going to the Redbox Bowl? I know Illinois going to a bowl game has been your biggest thing since you got to school here.
Yeah, so we've been talking about this bowl game, and it's always kind of seemed like it was going on in the super far future, but now it's here. And we heard a couple of rumors on what it could be. They were looking at the Motor City Bowl in Detroit, Pinstripe Bowl, and then this one. And just recently we heard a lot of rumors that it was going to be this one, and I was really hoping it would be. So I was happy. I was happy with the result. I was happy with who they were playing. And I have a group member in one of my projects who's on the football team, and he was super excited that he was able to go to California, and we were kind of talking about the bowl games and what it could have been. He said, yeah, the Pinstripe Bowl would have been really, really cool and all, but the warm weather in California, you just can't beat it. So I think the players on the team are super excited to get out there, and I think the school as a whole is excited to go and play in a bowl game, finally.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I know Lovey at his Sunday press conference said something along the lines of I think it was Alex Palczewski and Nate Hobbs both haven't ever been to California. So for 2 guys like that, Nate Hobbs obviously being from Louisville and Palczewski being from the state of Illinois, it'll be a first for them to get out to California, and I'm sure it'll be a first for a lot of them. Obviously, Milo Eifler, starting linebacker on, I think he's the weak side. I think he's the will linebacker. Sometimes they get those mixed up, him and Hansen mixed up.
Yeah.
Dele's in the middle. I should know this. But either way, Milo's from Berkeley, so he's literally from 40 minutes from where the game's going to be played. I was talking to him on Sunday. He was really excited to be able to go out there, play in front of his family. And ironically, his families actually came to a good amount of games. They even made it to the UConn game earlier this year. So they traveled across country for that. And he was really happy that he's given the opportunity, and I'll go play in front of them instead of them coming to see him play. And it'll be cool for Milo, I think, to definitely play in front of his home fans in California. Good experience for the entire team. Warm weather. As cool as it is to play at Yankee Stadium on an artificial turf, I think playing in an NFL stadium in warm weather means more to these kids.
Right, and I feel like you hit the nail on the head with that one. Basically, everything I wanted to touch on, you kind of hit it. Yeah, it's going to be really cool for Milo to go out, play in front of his family. Anytime that you could go out and go back to where you're from, and play in a turf that's familiar to you. It's going to be a really cool experience for him as an individual, but I feel like for the full team, it's kind of the first time we see this Lovey team kind of coming together, and the goals that they had set out years ago when Lovey first got hired is kind of become concrete now, and now it's a bowl game, and I'm really interested to see how they're going to do. We talked about this before, me and you, about does the result of a bowl game really matter, or is it just playing? Obviously, I could speak for everyone saying that we want to see Illinois win this game, and I think it'd be huge for recruiting. It's going to be, social media is going to be crazy with the team traveling and all the swag that they're going to get when they play in this bowl game. So nothing but positive vibes surrounding this team.
I'm glad you mentioned the Lovey and this becoming a concrete thing for Illinois going forward. Obviously, this is the first time Illinois has been to a bowl game since 2014, but Josh Whitman spoke with the media on Sunday as well, and he repeatedly mentioned, we're not satisfied. This isn't who we want to be. And in a couple years down the road, we don't want to be just fighting for a 6th win going into the last couple weeks of the season. And obviously, Illinois had already locked up their bowl game after the Michigan State game, but they're not satisfied, and they do expect more into the future. And Lovey also mentioned that next season, and I know he's not someone who wants to look forward too far into the future of his program, but you always have to be looking down into the future as a college football coach, whether it's with recruiting or who you're playing next year and who you're potentially bringing back to be a starter next year. They have, I think, 15 starters coming back next season. It looks like this program is going to be able to have, what Lovey said, his best team here and what he believes one of the best teams that Illinois has had in a while. So when Josh Whitman says we're not satisfied, it's going to be really interesting to see what improvements they make next year with their first half of the schedule being really, really easy, but then their second half really kind of picks up a little bit. I know you have Minnesota in there. In the second half, you have Ohio State in there in the second half. Northwestern, I think obviously they beat you at home this year. And I feel like Illinois always plays a little bit better up in Evanston. But it's just tough, like Northwestern's a rivalry game. You never know what's going to happen in there. You're still going to play a pissed off Wisconsin team, especially after you upset them, and you have to go to Camp Randall. Mm-hmm. You're still going to have Iowa, and you expect Nebraska to be a lot better and Purdue to be better. So
that's tough.
That's tough. It'll be really tough, but like we've talked about in the past, Illinois's got a chance to start. They need to start 4-0. They've got a chance to start 5-0 if they beat Nebraska, and 6-0 if they beat Purdue, which obviously would be really big if they beat Nebraska or Purdue. But if you can start 5-0, I think Illinois fans will be really excited with where they are. But right now, Josh Whitman wants these Illinois fans to just focus on the is. He said that a couple different times about enjoy this. Yes, they lost games they didn't want to lose. Naming Eastern Michigan and the disappointing loss to Nebraska and Northwestern. But enjoy this because this isn't something Illinois fans have had in a while. Mm-hmm. And it's something that you never know if it's going to come around again. Just because they have high expectations on players coming back next year, you never know. You could see a lot of injuries. You could see things just not go as planned. Illinois fans need to enjoy this. And I know Illinois has a lot of alumni out in San Francisco. I think it's the second largest, according to what Whitman said on Sunday. But seeing a lot of fans at that game is something that these kids and this team deserve. And I hope that if Illinois fans have the means to travel out there, to take advantage of it. San Francisco is a beautiful city. There's lots to do. Golden Gate Bridge, the bowl game, Alcatraz. There's so many cool things to do out there.
They are visiting Alcatraz, right? That's in the agenda.
Yeah, they're doing that, and go to a Warriors game out there if you're out there and you have time, and they're home. There's just so much stuff to do out there. It's a beautiful city. Enjoy it. Enjoy this entire experience because, like I said, you never know what's going to happen again.
Yeah, and I think that's the invested fan coming out of us when we're constantly thinking about the future and recruiting, and we have to make the bowl game next year to show that this year wasn't a fluke and stuff like that. But I can guarantee you that the players on the team, they're not thinking about that right now. They're thinking about, wow, this was a really good year. We had our ups and downs, but we got that 6th win, and we're going to a bowl game, and they're not thinking about the far future. And I feel like that is really just the fans. They want to go. It's just another game on their schedule. They want to go out and try and win it. But as you said, it's going to be a super cool experience to, for one, go play somewhere warm. You got to love cold weather football, but, it's a little change in what they're used to. And, Alcatraz and, Golden Gate Bridge, that sounds fun and all. But at the end of the day, everybody's going to try and want to win that game when it comes down to playing time.
And I think it's important for these teams, for this Illinois team, to want to really win this game. And we've talked about in the past, like you said, that we don't know how important it is to actually win a bowl game. But in terms of recruiting, which Illinois seems to really have picked up momentum, especially with this last weekend in terms of the official visitors, whether it was all the kids you had committed or getting an Anthony Shipton to commit or getting a Jakari Wiggles to really consider potentially flipping away from his Georgia Tech commitment, or Jarhans Newton, I think I still say his first name wrong, and I apologize for that, but potentially getting him to flip off of a Maryland commitment. The Illinois has momentum that they haven't had in a long time, and if you're able to finish over 500, maybe you flip another kid that's in St. Louis, whether it's an Antonio Doyle or an Antonio Johnson. Winning that game, I think, is really important for just the momentum. No one wants to end the year on a 3-game losing streak, and you don't really want to send your seniors out with a loss and a 4th losing record in their career here. No one wants to see that for these kids. So it'd be great to see them go out to Cal and handle their business in a matchup that I quite frankly think is pretty straight up and fair.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight matchup. And like you said, when it comes to recruiting, you know that every single one of those kids are going to be glued to the TV watching an Illinois football game. They want to see like how the offense and defense is ran, especially if we can try and flip one of the guys that have already committed. That'd be huge for the program looking into the future. Yeah, but as you said, it's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to watching the bowl game. And so, yeah, that's what I think about.
I'm excited, and I think Illinois fans definitely watch it, enjoy it. It's on Fox. Everyone around the country is going to be watching you play. Take advantage of it if you can, and you do. For whatever odd reason, like the Redbox Bowl shirt, buy one.
Yeah,
they're not the best shirts. Yeah, I wasn't a fan, and Illinois doesn't even wear that helmet anymore.
No.
Was not a fan of that.
Who's responsible for that shirt?
I don't know. It's got to be the Redbox Bowl, right?
I mean,
Someone that works for the Redbox Bowl or works for Redbox marketing. I don't know. It was not a good shirt.
Yeah, they gotta redo that. They gotta hop on that.
It was way too busy of a shirt. It had too much going on.
Simplicity. That's what it needs.
All right, so we're going to get to this segment a little bit earlier than what I really thought we would. And if I come up with another one as we're doing this, I'll throw it in here. So it's going to be a little would you rather for Illinois football and basketball and some of Dimitri's other fandoms.
Ooh.
He's a big soccer fan for whatever ungodly known reason. It's an awful sport. Sorry if you're a soccer fan.
Subtle shot, but it's okay.
I just can't get into soccer. Sister played growing up. It was just not something I can get into. But let's get into it. First one.
Okay.
Would you rather Illinois beat Cal in the Redbox Bowl or basketball make the NCAA tournament?
Oh, basketball make the NCAA tournament. I mean, that is the long-term goal of this team. And coming into this season, I feel like it not only was an expectation, but it was a demand that this team finally, under Brad Underwood, has some realistic goals of making March Madness. The Redbox Bowl, like you said, we may think about it years from now, and we won't remember the final score. Or maybe we will because we're crazy. But it's not going to be the most important thing in the world. But U of I finally breaking its streak of not making it to the tournament and playing in March and just being around the excitement and everything, 100% don't need to think twice. I want U of I to be in March Madness. But starting kind of a little slow, so we'll
talk about it later.
I hope things pick up.
We'll talk about it later.
Right.
Second, Antonio Doyle or Antonio Johnson Jr. Who would you rather get? Antonio Doyle is a 4-star edge rusher, either linebacker or defensive end from St. Louis Lutheran North. Just won a state championship in Missouri. Antonio Johnson is a 4-star safety from East St. Louis who also just won a state championship for the Flyers. Who do you want and why?
See, this is a really tough question.
This one's hard.
This is even tougher because we've talked about this one before.
Which you didn't give an answer to it because I don't think you knew who you really wanted.
Right. So, and please argue with me if
Okay.
you have a different opinion. I'm going to pick Antonio Johnson. I'm picking him because I just can't get this image out of my head of Beeson and Johnson in our secondary together, and that is just lockdown city. Even though we are losing a lot of depth at linebacker coming next year, I just think that one of the biggest problems that we had this year was our defensive backs, secondary, getting beat off the ball like that. So if we could land Antonio Johnson and then have Beeson come in, I mean, you just cannot ask for anything better than that.
Obviously, Doyle is a higher ranked prospect, but I actually agree with you. I think I would rather have Johnson. Doyle, I think, makes more plays more frequently if he comes to Illinois because he's an edge rusher and you get a sack or a tackle for loss a little bit more frequently than you do like an interception or a forced fumble.
Right.
But I think the need at safety is bigger right now than the need at edge rusher, whether it's end or linebacker. I also am not worried about recruiting St. Louis. And I know East St. Louis is kind of thrown in there with Corey Patterson. He recruits like St. Louis area and then the Metro East, which includes East St. Louis, Edwardsville. They've got a running back down there, Justin Johnson Jr., Jordan, I think. O'Fallon, Belleville, Alton, all those are like Corey Patterson territory, and that is obviously led by East St. Louis. Only has 1-2 players on its roster right now from East St. Louis. One of them is Stanley Green, and he's not even here after the bowl game. And the other is a player you probably have never even heard of, James Knight.
Yeah.
So
right.
I would like to see all the work that they've put in to like in creating that relationship and getting that relationship back to finally pay off.
Yes.
Especially with the 2021 kids there are really good, and I think
It's
Illinois,
always a talented team, East St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Always. But their 2021 class is good. And I know Illinois just got a quarterback in the 2021 class, Samari Collier from Texas, 3-star recruit. But East St. Louis has a quarterback, Tyler Macon. Dominic Levette is a receiver who, around the East St. Louis program, they've like compared him to Jeff Thomas. So obviously Jeff Thomas has really screwed Illinois in the past, but if
Twice.
maybe a third time this offseason.
Oh,
Maybe
please.
we'll feel
I
lucky.
would love to get my hopes up.
There's a lot of talent in the 2021 East St. Louis kids, and I feel like if they have the example of Antonio Johnson he went there, like he really likes it. They're winning there now. Maybe you get some of those kids, and I feel like I'm not a huge Illinois, if they're going to be really successful long term, needs to recruit the state of Illinois really well. I don't really think that is as true as everyone else does, but I still think you want to recruit your state well, and I know the staff does too. So I'll agree with you. I'll take Johnson, but if Illinois gets either one of them, I'll take it. I do feel better about them landing Doyle right now.
I was just about to
Johnson.
ask you that, like which one that you thought was like more realistic, like better chance of happening.
I think Doyle's a better chance of happening because I think right now it's a toss-up for him between Illinois and A&M, and he is not committed to A&M at the moment, whereas Johnson is committed to A&M.
So who do you think they're pushing harder on?
I think I would be pushing harder on Doyle.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's not committed. But you've got to be willing to put a lot of time with Johnson to really make him consider backing out. Mm-hmm. And it would be huge if Johnson doesn't sign in the early signing period next week. That'd be huge. That'd be
hopes
huge.
up.
All right, third one. The basketball team upset Michigan tomorrow.
Okay.
Or upset Michigan State on the road in your first true Big Ten game after the calendar flips on January 2nd. Michigan State is number 16 in the country right now.
That's tough. I'm going to say upset Michigan tomorrow.
I agree.
And here's why. I think it's as simple as more games under your belt when you go and face Michigan State. If you could snag a win against Michigan tomorrow, it's still very early on to the season. You don't start Big Ten 0-2, which we've talked about how bad that is. Yep. Especially since it's the games that nobody likes to play in December, which is a completely different conversation that we could have another day. If we could snag a win against Michigan tomorrow, start 1-1 in the Big Ten, get a little more confidence before Michigan State, I think that would be huge. So, yes, Michigan tomorrow.
I'll take Michigan, too, because I think they need a win tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm not going to say it's a must-win.
No.
But it's pretty damn close to a must-win game.
To get some positivity around the program, absolutely. Just in the manner, in which we've lost.
You need a marquee win before you go into Big Ten play. And I don't know if Mizzou is your marquee win.
No.
They're not a tournament team this year. And Illinois should have beat Mizzou, but that game's always close. So I agree with you. Michigan, and then maybe if you follow it up with a win against Michigan State. All right, fourth one.
Okay.
Would you rather get C.J. Dixon in the 2020 class or Deuce Spann in the 2020 class to play quarterback? I think they're each 3-star quarterbacks right now. Dixon is from Georgia. I think he started as a 4-star, and I think he's dropped down to a 3-star. I could be wrong on that. Spann is a 3-star. He's a little bit more raw, has the ability to run a little bit more. Who would you rather have and why?
I'm going to go C.J. Dixon because I feel like I still believe in this thing that is kind of disappearing in college football known as loyalty. He was super early to commit to us, and it kind of came as a surprise to me at least. I can't speak for everybody. I can't speak for you. But it came as a surprise, especially since when we think about quarterback in the future, me personally.
Everyone should be thinking about Isaiah.
Everyone should be thinking about Isaiah's and then him coming. So I just think his eagerness to commit to us, and hopefully if he stays with us, shows that he's committed to the team. So I don't really want to be looking around for other people, other quarterbacks in this class if we've already gotten a guy that said, yeah, I want to come here. However, if he decommits and proves me right that loyalty is a super rare thing in college football now, definitely go look around. But right now I'm going to say C.J. Dixon.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you. I would rather have Deuce Spann.
Okay.
And I know he's not ranked as high, but I think that C.J. Dixon was overranked a lot, actually. He did not have a great year this year. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't that great. He is odd. He has really good programs that were recruiting him at one point, like Alabama and Georgia, and then they backed out. And he also didn't start until his senior season at Grayson, which is where he goes to high school. I don't know why I was blanking on that. But, yeah, I'm going to actually take Deuce Spann. I think he fits Rod Smith's offense a little bit better, and I know he's raw, but he should have a year to at least come in and either redshirt or come in and I know quarterbacks don't normally redshirt, but come in and redshirt or come in and just sit a year in the system and really develop into a more polished college quarterback.
Okay, because I really haven't gotten around to Spann's film, so I want to ask you a question just to inform me a little bit more. Could you make like a player comp between him and somebody, that I would be familiar with, or is this just like he's different, like way too raw for me to like think of anybody right now? Because you said he's dual threat, right? He's more of a runner.
Yeah, he is. He's more of a dual threat quarterback compared to Dixon. Mm-hmm. He's 6'4", 194 though, so I can't like compare him to Isaiah in terms of like his size.
Well, yes. No, you cannot.
So it's tough for me to like come up with a comp. Mm-hmm. His 40 is good, but it's not great. It's 4.59. It's like average. But his shuttle is pretty good at 4.4. So I don't know.
How would you compare him to like an AJ Bush?
I would compare him closer to AJ Bush than I was thinking more pro level, but AJ Bush is a good comp.
Yeah.
But I think Spann could be a much better by the time he leaves Illinois if he were to come here than AJ Bush was. I think he'll be a better passer than AJ Bush was.
Do you think he would be better for the quarterback competition, like he has a chance to win it compared to C.J. Dixon?
Going into next season?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think either of them win it. I think it's Brandon Peters' job to lose.
Right, I agree with you. Okay, so say the next year down the line, we got Isaiah and you could have him either facing Dixon or Spann.
I think Spann. I think Spann's better.
At least you're consistent.
I think Spann's a little bit better. And I think he fits Rod Smith's offense a little bit better. All right. Fifth one.
Ooh, there's more than 5.
Liverpool wins their championship thing, whatever it's called.
The league? Wins the league?
La Liga? Is it La Liga?
No, but all right. The Premier League, you ever heard of that? Or do you live under a rock too?
The Premier League is the one with the lion and the ball, so I have heard of it actually.
Wow, I'm so proud of you.
All right, so Liverpool win the Premier League. Mm-hmm. Or Illinois basketball make it to the Final Four.
Liverpool in the Premier League.
What if I made it Illinois basketball in the national championship?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Because I didn't want that one to be that easy.
Okay, so here's the thing. Liverpool, obviously you don't follow soccer at all, which is kind of frustrating, but I will go ahead and explain it to you. Liverpool haven't won the league since 1989-1990 season.
Illinois hasn't won a national championship ever.
Right. And this year, Liverpool is in first place by a very wide margin at the beginning of the season. And halfway through the season is Christmas time, so we're getting right around there. And it's looking like it's going to be a 2-horse race, and we still have a 3-game point differential better than this team. So it looks like the strong favorites. Please knock on wood, because as a Liverpool fan, it has been disappointing that we're going to win the league this year. And I don't even know if Illinois is going to make March Madness at the beginning of this season. So I hate to go against Liverpool, but because I am already 95% confident that they will win the league because it's realistic, in the answer of this question, I'll take Illinois winning March Madness. However, if they were both just like bang average teams, then I'd pick Liverpool, because that's just where my heart is.
By the way, I do know one player on Liverpool.
Name him.
Mohamed Salah.
Well, that's awesome.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, yes. You did. He's one of the best players in the world, so
never. I honestly hadn't heard of him until this week when I saw him on SportsCenter.
How about Virgil van Dijk?
Isn't he in a movie?
No, I think you're thinking of another Van Dijk.
Just kidding. I've never heard of him in my life.
That's okay. You've been to my apartment. We got the banner of him above the couch.
I thought that was Salah.
No, it's Van Dijk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to add one more for this.
All right.
Last one.
Okay.
Isaiah Williams win the Heisman Trophy next season.
Okay. Next season?
Next season.
Okay.
Or at some point in his 4 years here.
Okay.
Or
Or
Adam Miller win Player of the Year and be the #1 pick. If Adam Miller comes here, which still remains to be seen because he hasn't signed
dear
yet.
God, I hope he comes here, man. Heisman or
Player of the
Player
Year
of the
and #1 pick. Oh, this one made him think.
I'm gonna go. Oh my God.
I know what you want to say, but I don't think you're going to say it.
I'm just trying to think of like who makes the team better, a Heisman quarterback or a Player of the
Oh,
Year.
a Heisman quarterback does for sure.
Doesn't go.
A Heisman quarterback. For
Okay,
sure.
I want to hear what you say first, and then you could come back to me. Like, you pick. That's tough. That's a tough question.
I've never met Adam Miller.
Neither have I. I mean,
I've also not seen him play in person since his freshman year of high school. I'll see him over Christmas break, though. I'll take Isaiah Williams to win the Heisman.
why?
I like Isaiah. I think he'd be cool.
Oh,
I think
so
there's.
this is like a personal thing. Like you.
I like Isaiah as a person.
That doesn't
I don't have
help
a
my
reason to
answer at
dislike
all.
Adam Miller. Like, I don't dislike Adam Miller. But, like, I don't know. I think it'd be cool if Isaiah won a Heisman. Plus, like, Illinois never had that before. They've had a Player of the Year before. Like, D was Player of the Year.
Right.
Plus, like, Heisman is, like, a lot more recognizable, I feel like. Plus, like, football's getting a lot more national attention if Isaiah wins the Heisman than if Adam Miller wins the Player of the Year.
I just think like with 5 guys on the floor for basketball, if one of them is the national player of the year, your team is going to be like just head and shoulders above the rest
Yeah, but
of the
if you're winning,
competition.
when have you seen a guy win a Heisman and they haven't played in, like, the national championship or New Year's Six Bowl at least? Like, look at the Heisman finalists this year.
What bowl did Lamar Jackson play in?
Oh, good call. Maybe not, actually. He might have been in New Year's Six, but look at the Heisman finalists this year. It was
Burrow.
Playoff.
Jonathan Taylor?
No.
Oh, are you talking about the 4?
This year.
Oh, it was Burrow,
Fields.
Um,
Playoff. He won the Heisman Trophy in 2016. All right, I got to look. Keep going.
Burrow, Fields. Who were the other 2?
Chase Young.
Oh, yeah, Chase Young and I don't know.
It was Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, my guy Jalen Hurts. Yeah,
You think Burrow wins?
yeah. I mean, like I said,
They lost in the Citrus Bowl to LSU. That has to be a New Year's Six Bowl. That is a New Year's Six Bowl.
I
The
think
2016
If we're
Louisville
gonna talk about
Cardinals.
Joe Burrow, I think he's probably like the least exciting Heisman winner we've had in the past couple
Dude,
of years.
I agree with that 100%.
He is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of like sheer electricity and like making the crowd stand up and go nuts,
I agree 100%.
I don't know. You know, he does his job and he does it very well.
Oh,
So,
wait, that was not the right Louisville Cardinal team. I need the 2017 team. Okay. I agree. Do you think Burrow wins the Heisman?
yeah.
I agree.
I mean, I don't even know if there's any competition at this point. It's his. Just hand it to him, you know.
I feel like that's how it always is for the Heisman.
Ooh, that's a good question. What was the last time like you had a good like Heisman race, you know? Like you're right. The past few Heismans, it's like
Like,
everybody
you just know
knew who
by
was
the
gonna
end of the
win.
year, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pull up the list of Heisman winners so we can do this. All right, it gave me the first one. Kyler Murray,
Versus.
he just won. Like, it was obvious he was going to win.
Oh, okay.
Baker, everyone knew. Lamar Jackson, everyone knew. Derrick Henry,
Oh yeah.
2015
Who
maybe?
was he up against?
Maybe Derrick Henry?
You want me to get on that?
I got it. I don't know. It's weird. Watson was in that. Travion Boykin was in that too. Dalvin Cook. Wow, there's a lot of finalists for this year. Okay, holy cow, that was a lot. Okay, yeah, Derrick Henry in 2015 maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's a running back. And running backs don't normally win, so that doesn't surprise
Didn't
me.
Ingram win it like
Yeah, but
the year before?
No,
Or 2
Ingram
years
didn't
before?
win it. Ingram won it in 09.
Oh wow, I am way off.
Yeah, but Mariota in 14, sorry. Jameson 13, back-to-back freshman. He did it after Manziel in 2012. Everyone knew he was going to win. RG3, everyone knew he was going to win. Cam, everyone knew Cam Newton was going to win. Ingram, everyone knew he was going to win. Bradford, everyone knew. Tebow, everyone knew.
Tebow?
Who won the 2006 Heisman? You know?
Was it?
If I give you a school, do you think you can get it?
Can you give me the conference?
Big Ten, Ohio State.
Oh, no.
Troy Smith.
Oh.
What about 2005? Do you know this one?
What year was Bush?
05.
05?
Yeah. USC had back-to-back Heisman winners.
With
Lionheart.
Liner, yeah.
Matt Lionheart, as they called him. All right, let's get to this basketball conversation.
Finally.
All right. Obviously a very disappointing start for Illinois basketball.
You could say
Based off of how they have started, I don't think anyone thought that they would have the start that they did, and they clearly have not lived up to expectations. They looked horrible against Arizona in the second half. They looked awful against Miami in the first half offensively. Defensively, they looked awful the entire game. You looked really good against Maryland in the first half. You looked
Yay.
in the second half, I guess. Oh, either way, Illinois 6-3 on the season. No one thought that. They're not living up to expectations. They've lost 2 in a row. You're staring down a third loss in a row in December. Tomorrow night against Michigan, if you're not able to upset the Wolverines. Where is this team? And where do they go from here?
You know, I really hate to say, like, this team currently is trying to find its identity, but this whole entire summer was building up this team and the culture and its identity, and we were supposed to walk into the year and we'll be tougher than everybody else. We're going to outwork everybody else. We're just everyday guys, you know? But it really has not looked like that since the beginning of the year. I mean, against worthy opponents, have we had a game where we've put 2 halves together? No. I mean, you go up against this.
They haven't put 2 halves together in a game this year. Nicholls State, you played awful in the first half.
Don't give it, yes.
Really, you played bad in that entire game. Grand Canyon, you played decent in the first half and worse in the second half. Arizona, you played well in the first half, awful in the second half. You played awful in the first half against Hawaii, well in the second half.
Rainbow Warriors, yeah.
Yeah. The Citadel, Hampton, and Lindenwood, those don't count.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
Yeah.
you played poor in the first half against the Citadel. Like, that was closer than it should have been at half.
And that is tough to do. That's tough to do.
and I'm sorry, Hampton and Lindenwood, you don't count. You just straight, you don't count.
I mean,
like, Lindenwood actually does not count on Illinois' record. They're a D2 team.
yeah.
They actually do not count. And Lindenwood didn't even view it as a game.
So, I mean, that's the thing. I say it all the time on our podcast, and I say it walking out whenever, whenever we watch a game or whenever we go to a game. It's like what separates the good teams from, like, the elite teams, the ones that are always, in the tournament and contending in March, is putting 2 halves together. Like, anybody could be a phenomenal team for 1 half and hope that you could, not have the opponents come out and just knock you out in the second half like you did in the first half and hold on to a win and barely scrap by. You got to put 2 halves together to win. And with Michigan coming up, that is going to be very hard to do.
I don't even feel like it's a full 40 minutes. That's just not fair to ask, right? Like, it's not fair to ask a team to play a full 40 minutes at their highest level against a Big Ten program. Like, it's not fair.
Hold on.
It's fair, but you have to expect the other team to go on a run at some point.
Right.
So, like, if Illinois, tomorrow night, if Illinois plays plays 30 minutes.
Okay.
Or even, 25. If they play 20,
that doesn't win the game.
If they play 25 to 30 minutes of better basketball against Michigan, I feel like they got a good chance to win.
Is it better basketball than Michigan, or are they playing good basketball and Michigan's playing bad basketball?
See, is that what it was against Maryland in the first half? Was Illinois really playing well, or was Maryland just playing bad?
It's a good point.
This is what I don't like about basketball compared to football. I can tell when one team is playing poorly. Like, basketball is sometimes hard to tell. Like, if a team is just shooting and missing shots, well, they're open. Like, they're getting open. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just missing. So are you playing poorly, or is this shot just not going in?
Yes. I mean, yes.
Yes, you didn't answer the question.
Yes to both. Yes to both. If the ball's not going in, your team's playing poorly. I don't care, how wide open the shot is. The shot has to go in to get points. It's basketball. Like, if you're not producing, and you're not hitting open shots, yes, you're playing poor basketball. Doesn't have to go between. I don't care if it's perfect X's and O's. You got to make the basket when it counts.
No, I agree. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's times when you can be playing great basketball and the other team just makes shots. Like, if your hand is in their face and they just make shots, like are you playing good defense?
Like if you're 5'7" and the starting point guard for Miami.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois played awful defense against Miami, but that's not a good comp. But, like, there's been plenty of times in my life, I feel like, when I watch Illinois play and they have their hand in the opponent's face and they just hit threes all game.
So,
AKA Jordan Bohannon.
So what was the original question?
Where does this team go from here? Look, what needs to be fixed?
I mean, that's tough.
Like, I don't even know where to start.
Can you try?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly where it starts, actually.
Okay.
Now that I really think about it.
All right. That didn't take long, but what do you
It
think?
starts with Io.
Yeah.
It starts with Io playing to the level that he was expected to play at.
He hasn't been Io thus far.
He's been awful. Even in the Maryland game, he was not good. Like, he didn't finish with double-digit points. He wasn't aggressive enough. He wasn't great defensively.
And why do you think that is? I mean, why do you
I don't know.
Why do you think we see a lack of production in...
I really just do not know.
You want
Yeah, give it to me.
My opinion?
Why do you think it is?
Because this year we're starting with 3 guards, and we have a big man that likes to score the basketball often, who we all love and adore. Io, I mean, still, everybody should look to him when it comes into the big moments, hitting the big shots and stuff like that. But
Were you mad that Andres had the ball at the end of the Maryland game, though?
I feel like you recruit a guy like Io for those types of situations.
I agree, but did you want him with the ball? Who would you rather have drive to the basket? And I know your answer to this. With the game on the line, if you're driving the basket to get a layup, do you want Andres or do you want Io driving?
Okay?
It is the Maryland situation. You're on the road.
Game on the line.
Against a top 5 team. Who do you want driving to the basket? Shut up. Your answer every other time is Andres.
Okay, you didn't let me explain. Like you said,
You can't just change your answer.
No, in this situation, game on the line, who do I want to take the ball to the basket? Final seconds, last shot wins you the game. Io. Literally any other time in the game, I'm picking Andres Feliz.
Who is taking the last shot? Tomorrow night.
Okay.
If they're playing Michigan and then Illinois has the ball and they're down 1 or they're tied with 5 seconds left, who do you want to take the shot?
I want Io with the ball in his hands, and what he does with it from there, I will be totally okay with.
Okay, now who do you think gets the shot?
Yeah, I mean...
See, this is the problem.
I see it going one of 2 ways. Io's dribbling to the basket and drives really hard and puts up a layup, or he drives through the lane and he dishes it out for a 3, which I pray to God goes to Trent Frazier. So in terms of who do I think gets a shot, I think it's going to be Io or whoever he passes the ball out to. I don't think that Brad is going to design a play for anybody else on the team to get the last look. If that's the question.
I feel like Andres getting the ball. They worked after the Miami game on late game situations. I feel like Andres getting the ball says something. I feel like it says a lot, actually. I feel like it says that Brad is losing some confidence right now in Io, and he's gonna have to earn it back. And he should be losing confidence in him. He's not having a good year. He's not.
I mean, I can only imagine what Io was thinking after the Maryland game and seeing Feliz hit the ground and fouling the guy. He had to have been thinking, why wasn't the ball in my hand?
Statistically speaking.
Okay.
Like, he has 15...
Stats guy.
Yeah, I am a huge stat head. He has 15 points a game. That's good. That's an improvement upon last year. 47.4% field goal percentage. Decent. Pretty good, actually. I'll give him that.
Okay.
Do you know what his 3-point percentage is?
Bad.
28. That is awful. Mm-hmm. He has no shot at all. He couldn't hit a broadside of a barn.
Oh, I mean, if you're...
He's not getting to the free throw line.
If your game-winning shot is somebody throwing up a 3, yes. I don't want the ball in Io's hands, but I think
10 of 35 from beyond the arc. That's like a significant sample size. I don't need to see Georgie's 3-point percentage because he shot like 5 of them.
Georgie 3. Yeah, you're right, and it was something that we thought was going to be an improvement coming into this year. I don't know if it's a mojo thing, or I don't know if he's just...
He's also turning it over. You know what his turnover to assist ratios? Assist to turnover ratios?
It's going to be bad.
3.4 to 3. It's equivalent.
Yeah.
It's a net zero.
That's a big problem for our team.
Yeah, it is. And he doesn't rebound either. He has 2.7 rebounds.
Okay, so you heard my answer, and you kind of thrashed it, so I want to hear your opinion.
He just makes me mad. Like, he's making...
Because at the end of the day, it's the guy you always come back to, and you want Io to take that shot.
I want him to be the one to take the step. And he isn't meeting expectations. He's so far from the expectations. And I do think some of those expectations were really just not fair.
Is he the face of the program?
Yeah.
Then he should be taking the last shot. It's as simple
Yeah, but
as
I
that.
think he's the face of the program by default.
Yeah? Then he should be taking the last shot. That's just how it is. If he,
But you think he gets the ball? If
Yes.
Brad calls a timeout tomorrow night, you think he's getting the ball?
Let's not even talk about calling timeouts.
Let's talk about calling
Maybe we
timeouts.
should.
Let's talk
maybe we
about calling
should because we
timeouts.
disagree with this.
Yeah, we do. Let's talk about calling timeouts.
All right, come on, give the little narrative.
Okay, so at the end of the Maryland game, obviously Illinois had the ball, tie game, with less than 10 seconds to go,
Yep.
and Illinois has one timeout.
Yeah.
Underwood decides not to call the timeout, which you see coaches do all the time.
Okay, so throw your opinion into the narrative, and then we could go ahead.
I am fine with Underwood not calling the timeout before Felice tried to drive to the basket, loses the ball, fouls Cowan. I'm okay with him not calling the timeout. And I don't think people would be complaining about him not calling the timeout if one of two things happened.
Okay.
One, he goes to the basket and makes the layup. Obviously, no one's complaining.
Obviously, yeah.
Two, I don't really think people are complaining if he drives to the basket, misses the layup, and the game goes overtime.
I am.
I don't really think people are. I feel like there's going to be some that are, and I respect that opinion. Like, draw something up, figure it out, get Kofi in the game, get him a shot on the block, figure something out.
It's like I don't even need to say what I'm thinking because you just said everything.
But, like, you're playing for, you get to overtime. Like, you got to overtime. The only reason I feel like everyone is so upset about him not calling the timeout is because of how it ended. Because Felice fouled Cowan, and Cowan got a free throw. Now, if you want to say calling a timeout between the two free throws is not right, I can understand that. But I understand it too, because you want to tell the players, hey, he's going to miss this on purpose, here's what we need to do. Mm-hmm. But I would have just saved it and called it after he missed it on purpose. But then you risk the officials not seeing you. Or you just tell the official, hey, he's going to miss this on purpose once we get possession, I want a timeout.
See, that, like what you just said, it's like, we got this, and then we got that, and then, this could happen, and then, or maybe I would have done this. Here's the thing. You call a timeout, you draw up a play, literally the worst thing that could happen after you call a timeout is that
you don't get the ball
is
in.
that you turn the ball over on the inbound. That is the worst thing that could possibly happen, and you hope that you have coached your guys enough to be able to inbound the ball. I mean, that's just basics, and that's just how it should be. You draw up a play, you get everybody calm, cool, collected. That's where you need coaching to be like, guys, we've been here before. Literally think about the last time that we were on a basketball court. We've been here before. We need to show that we've grown from this. Here's the play. Go and execute it. But instead, you don't call a timeout, say, basketball is basketball. Let's just let them play. And that is the worst possible outcome that could have happened. If he makes the layup, then everyone's calling Brad Underwood a genius. He let them play like he saved the timeout, because we do see it more often than not in college basketball. But maybe that's just my conservative side. You get the team in, it's a morale boost. You get Kofi into the game in case you could just throw one up to him and trust that he can make a shot from the block. But I understand the other side of the argument. I feel like you have to, but I just can't fathom why anyone would want to do that.
Either way, I don't think Illinois should have allowed themselves to be in that situation. They scored 19 second half points.
Oh yeah, that's a completely different argument.
Underwood saying after the game they deserved to win the game,
Really?
I don't know how, he said that after the game. I don't 100% disagree, but I don't really agree either.
Yeah,
I don't really feel like Maryland deserved to win. I don't really think Illinois deserved to win. I think it's just one of those games that
Maryland led it in the game for 2 seconds.
27 seconds is what it was. 27 total seconds, or 37 total seconds. Maryland didn't deserve to win, but I don't really think Illinois deserved to win either. You give up a 15-point second half lead, you don't really deserve to win. I would have said the same thing if Illinois beat Miami. Illinois doesn't deserve to beat Miami. If Iowa makes that layup, it's not like Illinois.
We're back, baby.
You come back from a 27-point deficit You deserve to win the game. Like, you fought hard in the second half. You deserve. No.
Right.
Clearly, Miami didn't play well in the second half. Clearly.
Yeah.
And Illinois lost. It was obvious Miami didn't play that well in the second half.
Right.
But, like, I don't really feel like either team deserved to win the Miami game. Win the Maryland
Is
game.
it a lack of, like, killer instinct? Like did you
I think it's a lack of game management, which I guess is killer instinct.
You know, like, it's instead of let's put the foot on the gas and beat them by 50, you think they got, like, conservative with their playing style and try to waste a lot.
Slowed down, don't you think?
I agree.
But I feel like they ran a totally different offense in the second half.
If it was working, why I don't understand why
they went back to their spread offense in the second half instead of the high pick and post.
The handoffs, yeah.
And pinch post, they went away from it, and it worked in the first half.
Right.
Why'd you go away from it?
Conservative playing style, so tough.
Does this team make the tournament?
That is the question, isn't it?
Putting you on the spot right now. On December 10th at 6:50, does this team make the tournament?
Can you ask me tomorrow?
No. Yeah, I'll ask you tomorrow too, sure.
Well, I might.
But I want your answer now.
If we lose,
this is what I'm holding.
If we lose to Michigan tomorrow, no. I don't think that, and it's really, really, really disappointing. But in terms of Big Ten play, you're gonna have to do a lot.
What if they lose to Michigan by like 2?
I mean, that still shows.
Or like Ken Pom's projecting 71-70 Michigan. What if they lose by 1 to Michigan?
That's still 0-2 in the Big Ten. That's still a big hole that you have to come out of. Kind of like that conversation that we had where we put the Big Ten basketball tiers, like, you know, top, middle, bottom.
By the way, Ohio State's now the highest ranked Big Ten team. Number 3 in the country.
Wow, where'd they put Maryland?
5. No, 4. I don't know. Let me look.
You're going to need to win. If you don't beat Michigan tomorrow, you're going to need to win games that nobody expects you to win, and then win games significantly in the games that you're favorited in. It's going to be a way tougher road than I thought, especially with all the expectations coming into this year.
Even if you just beat Miami.
Right. That exactly. Maybe it's just because I can't get the Miami loss out of my head that I'm super pessimistic right now. But there's got to be a change, and there's got to be a change fast, and we need marquee victories. We need wins against high-profile teams to look good on our resume, because the Big Ten's a tough conference. Big Ten's going to have a lot of people in March Madness.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State might be the best team in the country right now.
Right.
I think they are the best team in the country.
Which, by the way, Ohio State fans, they're spoiled.
Oh, yeah.
They're really spoiled.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I feel like
they're number 2. Ohio State's number 2 in the coaches poll, 3 in the AP. Maryland is 4 in each. Michigan is 5 in the AP, 7th in the coaches.
What does it say about this team if we go out and beat Michigan and we beat them?
I don't know.
In the score line that we thought the Maryland game was going to end.
I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Like, I need to see him, like, follow it up with an impressive performance against Old Dominion and run them out the gym by, like, 25. And then I need to see them beat Mizzou by, like, 15. And then you play North Carolina A&T, beat them by, like, 30.
Tariq Cohen, North Carolina A&T.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Not making the playoffs. Roquan, heal your pec, please, so I have you for week 1 next season.
Yes, please.
And then you play Michigan State to open Big Ten play. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like this team thought they were really good after their stretch against Hawaii, the Citadel, Hampton, and Lindenwood.
Everyday guys, man.
Like, I feel like they were like, oh, well, we beat these times by like 40, and we put up 120 points in back-to-back games. We figured it out. We're good. And then they got punched in the mouth against Miami, and they couldn't respond.
And remember on the podcast when we started talking about, you know, we played a lot of weak opponents, and what does it say about the team? And I'm pretty sure, I mean, we could go back and listen to it if we want.
Yeah.
I said the only thing that I'm worried about is going into this Miami game is that we played a lot of weak opponents and we scored 100 points in 2 games against a bunch of nobodies, that we're going to come out and we're going to face talent that we haven't seen. Like
in a competitive atmosphere.
In a competitive atmosphere that we haven't seen since Arizona, and we're going to come out and we're just going to get shell-shocked. And that's exactly what happened. So if this loss to Maryland doesn't wake up this Illinois team and they put out the best performance of the season against Michigan, I honestly don't know what else they need to get it all figured out.
I just feel like this team has too much individual talent to not figure it out and not make the tournament.
And it's not like there's like a lack of team chemistry or camaraderie. They've played together. Besides Kofi, they've all played together before.
Yeah.
They're super close off the court. Like,
Yeah.
just what is it? That's the point.
That's my thing too. The idea that the argument earlier in the year was, well, they just need time to mesh and they'll be okay. I didn't buy that for a second. They had 10 extra practices
Right.
over the summer. The only thing they lost was Aaron Jordan. Really, that's the only piece they lost. And you replaced him with Kofi. Which, granted, Kofi is like a big thing and he has like altered a lot of what they do offensively and defensively. Mm-hmm. But you still had 10 extra practices and everyone else has played together for at least a year now.
Right.
So why don't you look like you understand what you're doing on the floor together?
Is that coaching? Is that
I don't
is that
know.
leadership?
I don't know.
Is
I think
that-
it's both.
Just not being able to play to your full abilities for some unknown reason?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, and it's frustrating. I know what they're bad at,
Yes.
but I don't know what they need to do to fix what they're bad at. It's like, play better,
We're not coaches.
right? Like Io. Like, I don't really know what Io needs to do to start hitting a 3, so he's not shooting 28%. I just know he needs to start making them. Besides get open. But I guess that comes down to the coaches getting him open because he lacks athleticism.
You happy with Alan Griffin's minutes? I feel like he needs to see
He
the
got
floor
5
more.
minutes against Maryland, but he jacked up a couple bad threes, and he doesn't really help you defensively. Plus, Kipper played well, and Mate played well,
Yeah.
too.
How many points did Kipper end up with?
7, I think.
Okay, because
Remember
we
when we said
yep,
we'd be shocked?
We'd be shocked if he got 9.
By the way, smash the under on Tevian Jones, 7 minutes. 0. Goose egg. Yeah,
does he see the floor tomorrow?
I don't know. I feel like Tev would have played against Maryland if Illinois would have came out and like been losing. There's no reason to put him in.
Or just absolutely smoking him? If they
Maybe if you stretch your lead to like 20 in the second half,
That's what I'm
maybe
saying.
he comes
That was
in.
the worst possible game for Tevian Jones because Brad's not going to put him
Someone
in
he doesn't trust, yeah.
somebody he doesn't trust into the game when it's like a 2 or 3 possession ball game. But if we're absolutely just destroying Maryland or we're getting smoked, he would totally put him in with the bench brigade. But yeah, I don't think he sees minutes tomorrow either. I think he's going to save him for the Old Dominion game, and hopefully he's peak.
Who
peak.
starts tomorrow? Same as Maryland? I think it's the same as Maryland.
Yeah,
In fact, I'm almost positive it'll be the same
yeah,
as Maryland.
I will agree with you.
They played better offensively in the first half. And defensively,
Which is
they were
weird.
clearly better.
Which is weird because they put DeMonte on, and
I just think, I don't know if those 3 guards work together. They're all 3 very ball dominant when they play to the way they should play.
and that's exactly my point with Io's lack of production. You have 3 ball dominant guards, and then you've got a big.
He's worse with Andres on the floor than he is with Trent.
Yeah,
But I think Andres
I
is more
love
ball
Andres.
dominant.
I do
Like if
love
Andres has the
Andres.
ball, yeah, everyone does. You should. He's maybe your best.
Whoop.
He might be their best guard.
Wow.
He might be their best guard. That's really not that hot of a take. Right now, he might be their best guard.
That's a different conversation.
He might actually be their best guard.
He's taking a lot of looks away from Io.
I don't know. You want to give a prediction for tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. So what did Ken Pom say? 71-70?
Yeah, Michigan winning.
I will go 78-65, Michigan.
I don't know why I'm going to do this. I really don't know why. I'll take Illinois 74-69. Close. And I think they separated with free throws at the end. I don't know why I'm doing that. Brad
Okay.
Underwood, I felt like, I told you this, right? After the Miami game, I said, man, it'd be a real Illinois thing to do to just go win one of these 2 games, wouldn't it? And you're like, yeah, it would.
It would.
And I thought they were going to do it against Maryland. Although once the second half started, when they were up big in the first half, I was like, wow, they may actually make me look really smart. And then the second half, the second half kept going, and then I was like, I have 0 confidence they're going to win this game. And it just kept getting smaller And smaller.
Right.
And smaller.
You should see.
And smaller.
You should see the text that I was sending my dad because he was out to dinner. He's like, "Keep me posted." I'm like,
The lead just getting
up
smaller.
7 with blah 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 to go. Up 4 with blah 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 to go. Up 2.
Tie.
Oh, Felice just fell. you know, stuff like that.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Either
Yeah.
way, tune in tomorrow. It's on Big Ten Network at 8 o'clock. Be interesting to see how many Orange Crush kids are there and really just how many people are at the State Farm Center, because I think a lot of Illinois fans are very frustrated with this program right now. Thank you for tuning in. Dimitri, I hope you enjoyed your debut on Illini Drive.
Thank you.
Maybe we can do it again. And listen to our podcast.
Yeah, please.
It's Illini Focus. I'll tweet it out. Alec_Busse on Twitter. ALEC_BUSSE. Follow me.
Yeah, if you don't have SoundCloud, it's time to get SoundCloud.
Yeah, it's easy. I post it there. It's free. I don't have to pay for an RSS thing. So, yeah, I do that. Save money. I'm a broke college student. But thank you for watching this episode of Illini Drive. I appreciate it, and we'll see what the Illini can do tomorrow against Michigan.